Hey, what's up, guys? Today I'm going to talk about something that involves kind of mind and body connection, which is called flow state. What is a flow state? What does it mean to flow? Flow is like a fluidity, correct? And when things flow, there's no impingement. There's nothing impeding the flow, like stopping up, like a blockage. It just, things just go naturally, correct? Things just move naturally. And this flow state is very important in daily life, to be in the what would be called the zone in like psychology, being in a good zone, being in a good frame of mind. But it all has to do with performance as well. Now, whether you're in a sport or even the gym, I believe a flow state's going to be ideal for performance, and even in things like in relationships, like going on dates. You want to be in a flow state, right? Where things like conversations just flow. Things just flow naturally without these types of blockages or impingements, correct? So I'm going to start with an analogy. It's kind of a funny one, but it's actually real, so just hear me out. I know a lot of guys, myself included in the past, would have issues like when you go to like a restaurant or a bar and you have to take a piss at a urinal next to a guy like next to you, right? And you might get kind of staged, like you might not be able to pee, right? Because it's kind of a awkward experience, right? You're not getting the flow. You're not peeing. That's the flow, right? Well, what's actually going on there is like a lot of guys get too much in their mind about like, oh, there's somebody next to me, or like it just the awkwardness or the nervous system response is where I'm trying to get at, is creating a blockage where you're not able to actually piss, even though you have to take a piss sometimes really bad, right? Well, how I learned to kind of deal with that is just focusing on my breath and just being present within my body. Just being present and not worrying about anything else. Not worrying about, there might be a guy taking a piss right beside you or on both sides, you know what I mean? But it's like, whatever, it doesn't even matter. Just focus on my body, my breath, just breathing, and it just comes. It just flows naturally, okay? This is a good analogy, but it's actually a good example of a type of flow state, okay? Because the blockages and impingement on your flow state is going to be based on something that's neurological and psychological a lot of the time. For example, nervous system responses that'll affect your performance. Another example is, I don't know how many guys are good dancers, but if you're all up in your mind thinking about like how you're dancing and what moves you're doing, your dancing is going to look a lot awkward unless you're just compared to just feeling the music and like going with the flow of the flow state again. Now, the flow state, it might sound like you have to shut off the mind, but actually complete the opposite. Your mind is still very much there. It's very much aware, but it's not impeding on your performance. Okay. People who are musicians know this. Like people who have to do, say, like if you had to do a piano recital and you had to play Fleur de Lis, right? If you got all nervous and you're all in your mind when you're doing it, you might fuck up your chords and like your in your performance in the piano, right? But being in the right flow state, breathing properly, is going to help out at least a lot. And same with sports, and same with a lot of things. I know when I used to DJ like a lot, like professionally, for like electronic music, techno music, and my style was very playful. Okay, so like it was very. I won't get too much into it, but I knew I had to get in that flow state, and maybe the first song I played wasn't there, but by the time I got into the second, third, especially third song, I was already in the flow. You know, the nerves were done. I was performing. I was in my state. So that's the kind of thing that that happens if you're any type of performer, musician, in sports, etc. And this is a big actual topic in sports, which is the zone theory, zone psychology, flow psychology. So it's something that I've learned about the past, because there's literally sports psychologists that work with professional athletes to get them in this zone state. And a number of ways you can. I'm actually, you know what it is now, right? So there's a performance. It's performance oriented, where your body is going to be doing something, and it all depends on how your mind is, your psychology, how you're performing, how you're going to actually behave proper. Now, there's a number of things that you can do to get yourself in this flow state. For one, you have to train to do it. So what you do is you create some type of what you call an anchor. Okay, this is used a lot in hypnosis, because actually the flow state is actually kind of a type of hypnosis on a deeper level. So, because that involves brain waves and such. So what your anchor is, it's kind of like a ritual that you do. So, like, I knew the professional skateboarders, before they would jump down a huge set of stairs, they had this ritual where they would, like, tap their board or do something like that. Just something that triggered the flow state. They're all up in their mind. Like, they're like, shit, I could throw myself down these stairs and, like, break my leg or whatever. But they did this ritual which kind of took their mind out of that maladaptive kind of behavior. Well, it's going to affect their behavior maladaptively, and like did this weird tapping thing with their shoes and whatever, and then all of a sudden, you know, they're in the zone and they kickflip like a 12 set of stairs type of thing. So there's types of rituals you can do to get it, and one might be like a phrase. Serenity now. You ever watched the Seinfeld episode? But really, that could be it. It could be a serenity now type of thing, where you're in your mind and you're getting the flow state. Could be a specific behavior, like just juggling, even like before a performance. So like your mind, body, spirit is kind of connected before you do something. But as well, there could be visualization exercises. So I'm going to tell you one right now that I actually learned from Star Trek. It's a Vulcan technique. I think it was Tuvok in whatever Star Trek he was in. He was a black Vulcan. Anyway, you do this visualization exercise. If you're feeling kind of uneasy, that you picture what an ocean would look like or like a dock at a bay with an ocean, like with waves crashing, or like a bit wavy, and like there's a bit of like a bit chaotic in the weather behavior, in the weather, right? That might be reflective of how your psychology is at that time. So just focus on that, like be aware of it. So, because the awareness is key, first of all. So there's like, you know, waves crashing, maybe a boat's hitting up against a dock because there's a bit of turmoil, and that turmoil might be reflective of your own emotions. But then change that picture so that the sky turns blue, the birds start chirping, that the water becomes so calm that you can go to it and then see your reflection in it. And if you can give that visualization exercise where you go from like a chaotic mental state, like visualization picture, to a calm one, so calm that everything's so, and you can even smell the ocean breeze, and you're like, look yourself in reflection in the water, then I guarantee your physiological, your heart rate, your brainwave state, everything's going to be calmer as well. And you're still going to be, because you're aware, you still have that awareness there, right? It's not about shutting off the awareness. In fact, quite the opposite. It is a type of hyper-awareness that happens. Because when you calm down, it's like a computer. When you close all the programs that you're not even using, the program you are using, like a video game you're playing, the performance is going to be a lot better, right? Or the download speed or things is going to be a lot better. It's the same. So we're shutting down the unnecessary processes so that the actual process that is running isn't going to be lagging, isn't going to have any disruptions or any blockages. And this is important, like I said, in sports, but it's also very much in martial arts. Like, for example, Bruce Lee says, be like water, my friend, right? Be like water, my friend. And I always heard that, but then it wasn't until I started training boxing that I actually understood what it's like. Is boxing, you got to be in this flow state. If you're not in the flow state, you're going to get tired a lot easier. Your punches aren't going to be even as good. Like, I learned to throw hard, snap your punches when I was just relaxed. It's like, dude, just relax and let you, like, almost like your arm's a noodle, but then hardens up right at the end. Like, stay relaxed, and my punches were so much snappier. And then when you relax too, then you can be more aware of your opponent, because you're not up all in your mind. You don't have tunnel vision. You're like, your awareness expands because you're just so relaxed. You're more in a relaxed, aware state. That's a zone-like state. Also, I've seen like guys who are like, I do professional, I used to do, not professional, but competitive pistol shooting. But I know guys who were like more on the professional side, and then seeing them hit targets and things like ping, 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 run over to another station, ping, 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 ping. It's an international pistol shooting competitions type style. But they're like John Wick, and they're just pinging off everything. But you know, they were in that flow state, right? they're not like lining up every shot. They're just like they're just in a state where they're pinging targets off like nothing. So I gave you a few examples, but I really want you to think about how you could benefit this yourself, because it's not, you don't have to be like a sports athlete or even a musician or whatever. It can translate to your job. It can translate to relationships. Say if you're a single guy and you're going on a date, the flow state is going to be key for that. Being in a flow, like she'll recognize that even. So again, the mind is something that is a tool that we can use, but it also can be a thing that it actually impedes our performance. Kind of like, in a way, again, I'll use a technology example, like cell phones, like in things. Cell phones are so great because it's so interconnected. It's a tool, but it also is something that can we can be like a slave to. Same thing with our mind. It's kind of like a kind of form of technology. You know what I mean? If we're letting the mind control us, our performance is going to go off. We're in control of the mind, and we're in control of the mind through performing like a kind of ritual, kind of a visualization exercise, getting in that flow state. So turning off aspects of the mind that is not helping us, so that we have better awareness and we have better performance, mind-body connection, if that makes sense. So be like water, my friends. Thanks for watching. Peace.